guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rise. We're back here at Walker Ford in Clearwater, Florida, and guess what? I have something new for the Mustang for 2025. It's this right here. This is the new color for 2025. It's called Molten Magenta on this Mustang GT. But before we get into that high performance V8 muscle car that's still being produced, let's talk about what's going on here. So the Mustang has been very important to Ford. It's very important to the automotive industry, and it's definitely very important to Mustang enthusiasts. Now, we talk about new models of Mustang that come out and then kind of go away. Cars like the GT350, the GT500, the Mach 1, the new Dark Horse. Well, for 2025, they don't have a new model of the Mustang, but they're have basically two new colors. This is all new. This is, like I said, called Molten Magenta. Another new color, which is actually a throwback color, is Wimbledon White. It's that creamy white. You can still get Oxford White, which is that bright, in-your-face white, or you could get that classic 60s creamy white known as Wimbledon White. So that's been brought back. But like I said, new to the color palette is Molten Magenta. Now, in the heyday of the muscle cars, that muscle cars version 1.0, having an eye-catching color was very important. So important that other brands like Mopar with Dodge, Chrysler, and Plymouth, they came out with their impact colors because they wanted to make an impact and get people's attention. Now, today there's lots of crazy colors being produced, but what I want to find out is, if you're looking for a Mustang and you're looking for a color that really is going to stand out from the crowd, do you go with this new Molten Magenta? Let's go ahead. Let's dive into ours and find out. Right off the bat, I'm so glad it's a sunny Florida day because this is where you could really appreciate this color. And depending on how much sun is hitting it, is going to give you a little bit different of experience. Now, you'll notice when we look at the front end of the business here, that massive amount of metal flake in there. It's got so much metal flake in it, you're going to think that you're driving a bass fishing boat because of all that sparkle, but it really does fit the character of the new Mustang. Now, of course, on the Mustang GT, what makes it such a standout is right off the bat, you're going to get full LED lighting. You'll notice on this Molten Magenta how everything is blacked out on the interior of that headlight housing. I do like that. I like the way they're bringing that blacked out look, really kind of just cleans everything up. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what did they have before? You could get those basically U-shaped indentations in there. You could get them in silver. There's like a shiny silver chrome that they've used on the model year 2024 versions. Nice to have it all blacked out. Now, of course, on the standard Mustang GT, the biggest zonk for me has got to be the fake vents. And yes, I know some of you have piped in saying, well, Joe, if you get a Dark Horse, that's where you're going to find different heat exchangers and engine oil cooler and all that. And that is true. But on a Mustang GT, we need to have functional vents, even on the standard Mustang GT. Now, as we come across the front, what I think you're really going to appreciate on this particular one is how the Molten Magenta works nicely, not only with the gloss black, because remember, when you go Mustang GT, you're going to get that gloss black up top grille with your twin inlets on both sides. They're sort of like the nostrils of a horse on both sides of the grille. But I like the way that this one has this silver pony. That classic Mustang badge goes all the way back to 1965 because, as you saw from the side of the vehicle, we have optional wheels that match this. And it gives a nice balance of color. So if you're really looking, like I said, for a color that stands out, but also is very cohesive with all the appointments that already come in a Mustang GT, I think you really got to consider this Molten Magenta because it really works super well. Now on the lower portion, you'll notice more of that body color, the flat black, and then you do have that flat black splitter that runs along the bottom of that lower lip. But definitely very interesting. It's kind of crazy because in the shade, it almost looks like Rapid Red, which Rapid Red is not offered for 2025. And what I appreciate about this color is that compared to, say, a brand like Porsche that has Ruby Star Metallic, which is really a pink color, this kind of has a nice balance to it. It's crazy how they were able to really get the mixture just perfect. Now, as we rise up, the Molten Magenta really highlights the body lines, super nice with that muscle car bulge. And then you're gonna get, just like the front grille, you're getting the gloss black on your heat extractor on the hood. I think the only thing that I would have liked to have seen, and I wouldn't go with the blackout package, but just a black roof, I think would have kind of cut it just a little bit, especially with the black that we have up front. I wouldn't necessarily go with the blackout package, because the blackout package gets you black wheels, duh. And I feel like with black wheels, it's not gonna work as well. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are so far. Now, as we come around the bend, we do have optional wheels. I personally love these 20 by 9 inch wheels. So 20 inches in diameter, 9 inches wide. You have that almost like hand polished aluminum look to it with the V-spoke all the way around. You'll notice that we have our standard 6-piston Brembo caliper up front with the Mustang logo on it. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what is the size of this tire? It's gonna be, like I said, that 20 inches in diameter. And what you're basically looking at is gonna be 255 on the width, and then you have a nice 40 series sidewall to really wrap around nicely with that tire. But it's one of those things that color is very important to people when it comes to personalizing their Mustang, but also wheels. And if you don't like this wheel, they do have other options. But let me know in the comment section what you think. The silver with the Molten Magenta, absolutely stupendous. On the fender, I'm gonna have Lori kind of zoom in and show you all that sparkle. Look at that. And then of course we got our 5.0 badge, 5.0, gotta go. I remember back in high school, if you had a Fox Body 5.0 Mustang, you were pretty much a badass, because those cars were pretty potent, especially during that time period of the early 1990s. Up top, you got that nice, sleek, fastback roof design like on all the Mustang GTs. Do you see what I'm saying? If this was painted black, I don't know, I think it would work really well. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Of course, we have our flat black from our side sill extension. You got your Molten Magenta on your door handle, and of course on the mirror cap with your LED turn signals nicely molded in. Coming to the rear, what you're gonna find is when you go standard Mustang GT, you're not getting the Brembo brakes out back. But like I said, you got tires that are 265 all the way around with that 35 series sidewall, and you do have a limited slip diff to get the power to the ground, because this is rear wheel drive. And I know a lot of people in some of the previous Mustang reviews have said, I wish the Mustang was all wheel drive. No, no all wheel drive Mustang, no. Rear wheel drive, that's how it's been since day one. Now, as we come around the rear, look at that beautiful flared fender, that nice Mustang flared fender with all that Molten Magenta. We do have a color match trunklet spoiler. I think this was smart. The one thing I would have added to this Mustang would have been the performance package. I think for around $6,000, you get a lot of bang for the buck, especially if you're considering going dark horse. You're getting a lot of bang for the buck going with the performance pack. But I didn't order this one, so let me know what you think about that trunklet spoiler. Still looks great, very clean. We got our tri-bar taillights with that sequential blink. You got your GT badge with a little bit of silver. See how the silver and the black and the Molten Magenta just all comes together like peanut butter and jelly? And then working our way down the ground level, of course, if you go Mustang GT, you gotta have that Ford Performance active exhaust. Keep it quiet if you want to keep the peace with your neighbors, or do like I do and just let her sing and piss everybody off. Oh well. You do have that flat black on your lower bumper and rear diffuser area, but the quad tip exhaust is really worth every penny. Slash cut tips. You could adjust the sound, and the quad tips just look so damn good. But why don't we go ahead We talked about the exterior wrapper of this Molten Magenta GT. Let's go see the heart. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Underneath the hood is that Coyote 5-liter V8. I love the look of it underneath the hood. They did a great job when they went to the new generation, the S650, with the engine cover. You got your dual throttle bodies. What are we looking at? So when you go with the Ford Performance exhaust, it does give you some extra horsepower. It's 486 horsepower, 418 pound-feet of torque. You can still get a 6-speed manual transmission. If you go GT, it is the Getrag 6-speed manual transmission or a 10-speed automatic. With the 10-speed automatic, you're looking at 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds, quarter mile in 12.3 seconds at 116 miles an hour, and the top speed is governed to 155 miles per hour. The 2025 Mustang GT weighs around 4,000 pounds, MPGs 16 in the city and 24 on the highway. So you're still getting that muscle car rumble. It's going to be interesting because I know Dodge says that they're bringing back the V8. We're going to have to see if that really happens and how that's going to equate to the big picture. But the V8 is still alive and kicking in the Mustang. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and let our ears have a little bit of an eargasm. All right, guys, we are in it to win it. We're inside this Molten Magenta, new color for 2025, a new color period for a Mustang GT. I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, I want to live those muscle car days. I am so sick of working. I work 6 days a week. I got 1 day for me. I want to spend it doing some burnouts and going through some twisty bits. And I'm liking this Molten Magenta color on this Mustang GT, but how much is it? Very good question. So remember, starting price for a Mustang GT is $47,000. This one with the options comes up to $59,000. But let's see what it's like going Mustang Molten Magenta to the door panels. Absolutely dig how everything is nice and clean. Soft touch material. I think one nice thing that would have been cool if Ford offered it is to have Molten Magenta stitching, contrast stitching on the door panel instead of just the regular white. You do have a nicely padded armrest. And then, of course, you got that door pocket that is ginormous. You could easily put a Checkers Big Buford with extra pickles, Checkers fries, and a banana milkshake to wash it down. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, we got the Mustang name staring your passenger in the face. You got that stitching. Let me know in the comment section. Wouldn't this have been nice if it was the Molten Magenta contrast stitching? And then as you slide in, you're still getting it, and I'm still not in love with it. The massive screens. You got a 13.1-inch infotainment system screen that is connected to a 12.4-inch digital gauge cluster. It is all one piece, but there is a definitive bar of dead space in between the two screens. What I do love about it is just all of the information that it shows. You could take your Mustang, spin it around. You could change all your ambient lighting, the displays and the ambient lighting. Talk about Roy G. Biv plus some. And then it is very intuitive. You got plenty of auxiliary gauges. If these aren't enough, look at that. You even have more. And on top of that, this is where you could get into your cluster themes for the gauge cluster. So you could have it match your drive mode, or you could pick any of the options, including some of the special ones like Fox body gauges. See how it shows the Fox body, or SVT Cobra. I think I'm going to leave it on that. That looks really good with the white face gauges. Really, really cool to have that configuration, and whenever you want it, you can have it. Heated steering wheel, dual climate control. It is all in the touchscreen. And then you do have heated seats and ventilated seats. We're going to shut off those heated seats. I don't know why heated seats automatically come on, but all of the functions are within the screen. And that is the big challenge. There's not a lot of physical buttons and knobs in here. I'll throw it in reverse. You don't have to worry about the backup camera, but it is nice when you're backing up at Cars and Coffee. You got your nice trajectory. It is a good size, and the resolution they really worked on, especially when you look at some of the competitors. And then we're right back where we started. You have your quick access buttons. So if you want to get into My Mustang mode to make all those changes, you just hit the pony, and then here we are. So it's nice to have that. We got a real volume knob for when you're rocking out to the tunes. That dark red, it's like cherry red start-stop button. USB-C, USB-A, 12 volt. The big shocker is no wireless charging. That to me is a big zonk. We have the 10-speed automatic. I would go with the manual, but this one has the 10-speed automatic. Some more stitching, nice soft touch, 2 cup holders. You got your Mustang key fob with the remote start. More soft touch, more stitching. Here's where you could open this up. You got another 12 volt. What you could fit in there is a Furby. You could get yourself, or maybe you already have it. You probably already have it. Your Molten Magenta Furby. Let me tell you a quick story. I was going to school at University of Central Florida. Furby just came out. My sister Nicole, younger sister Nicole, wanted a Furby. I didn't want to see my mom have to go wait in lines. I had a friend that lived in the same complex on campus that worked at KB Toys. Remember KB Toys? He told me a shipment was coming in. I went and stood in line for 2.5 hours for a Furby. I was 4 people away from the door, and that's when the manager came out and said, sorry, we're all sold out. I promised myself, I don't care if it's my grandmother, my mother, I don't even care if the Pope wanted a Furby. I'm not standing in line for anything like that ever again. Sorry. Seats, the leather, nice and soft with the stitching. The sad news is you still got manual backs, but you do have a power bottom, and the seats are very comfy. These aren't the seats to hold you really well in the twisty bits. They do a decent job, but they're going to be the most comfortable for daily driving. And then, of course, you still have the back seat area, which basically you have to be about the size of a Furby to fit back there. But why don't we go ahead, get your butt over here. I want to show you behind the wheel in this Molten Magenta. I'm going to say it as many times as I can. Molten Magenta Mustang. All right, guys, business side of things. Come on in. Let's see what you got going on in your Mustang GT. You got your Mustang sill plate, nice aluminum sill plate. Illuminates at night, ambient lighting. You do have a decent pedal box. They give you an aluminum brake pedal, aluminum throttle. I'm still going to keep zonking it. I want an aluminum dead pedal, so it all matches. Remember, the seat controls are power only for the bottom. And what's weird is that they give you a total of 3 memory seat settings, but it's only for the bottom. What are they thinking? Don't forget, 5 horsepower because we have the racing stripe on our seatbelt. That would have been nice if it was Molten Magenta. Another nice touch, but Ford doesn't have that type of personalization like Porsche or Chevrolet with the Corvette. Maybe they should. Let me know in the comment section. Would you want this personalized? The seatbelt with Molten Magenta? Let me know. I'm 6 feet tall. They do it right with plenty of room in here. Steering wheel, love the leather. You got your perforated, you got your smooth leather, flat bottom, mode selector button, flat black on all the switch gear. We do have paddles because we have the automatic to go up and down that 10-speed automatic transmission. And then you do have a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then there's the digital gauge cluster. Love the SVT Cobra gauges. It's just really, really cool how that technology works like that. But I'm still not in love with the screens. I'm just not. I wish they were molded nicely into the dash. That's all I'm asking. Maybe they'll do that on the refresh. It'll be the Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides modification. But why don't we go ahead? If you're ready, I'm definitely ready. Let's go on throttle in our Mustang GT. All right, guys, we are leaving Walker Ford. We're in this 2025 Molten Magenta Mustang GT. If you're ready, I'm definitely ready. On throttle, here we go. Nice. You can't not have fun with this car. It's like, it's gonna put a smile a mile wide on your face. It's the last of the Mohegans right now until Dodge decides when they're gonna relaunch the V8. They say 2026, but hey, trust me, nothing is ever official until it actually happens. But right away, being in this car, it's very, very well laid out. It's comfortable. And it's gonna be interesting to see how much of the technology is carried over in the upcoming Dodge Charger with the V8 compared to this Mustang GT. I can tell you right now, if it is similar to what you get in the Charger Daytona EV, you're gonna love the interior of the new Charger a lot more. But with that being said, still has that classic feel in here with the new modern tech. And when it comes to just everyday drivability, this Mustang GT does such a great job. I mean, it's comfortable, you got a usable trunk. If you got some small kids, you could throw them in the back seat. And, you know, you just have that experience every day you fire her up of that nice rumbling V8. Plus, with the Molten Magenta exterior, it definitely catches people's attention because of just how unique it is. And it's a color that, like I said, depending on what angle you look at it, depending on how much light there is really going to affect how the person experiences it. In the bright sun, like I said, it just takes on this perfect hue, and to me, looks fantastic. There are other brands bringing certain pinks and magentas and things like that to their color palette. I really, really like the way that Ford worked this Molten Magenta. But going down the road, even with the 20x9-inch wheels, the ride is comfortable. It's also very, very sporty all at the same time. And that's the thing, that with the Mustang, it really is a perfect balance when you go with the GT. Of course, going GT Performance Pack and then adding that Magna Ride suspension, that suspension is really freaking out of this world. The way it's able to change compression and rebound every nanosecond while you're driving down the road. But having the different modes, having the configuration of the screen, it really allows a lot of personalization. And then of course, like I said, with the different color wheels and just the different exterior colors is also fantastic. But we're gonna go on throttle here and really be able to enjoy what this Molten Magenta Mustang is bringing for 2025. And just to be able to kind of give you that feel of what this car is all about. Are you ready? I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Music to my ears. She's Louise, man. She lays the power down so well. And with, you know, the changing of how you could do the different modes, how you can make all those adjustments, it really just allows you to personalize whatever the driving experience is you want to have. And even, like I said, driving it over bumpy roads, smooth roads, it just gives you a great overall driving experience. And I think you're going to appreciate that. Because sometimes when you go performance cars, it could be a little harsh when it comes to the ride quality. But like I said, the sound of that V8, I could listen to that all day long. All day long. let's go on throttle from a dead stop. Shall we? Are you ready? On throttle, here we go, yeah! Of course, the traction control doing its thing and trying to get that traction down to the ground. Even over that big bump, I tell you, it did a really, really good job. I'm gonna go ahead and take the shifter and put it into M, and that's gonna allow me to use the paddles to go up and down the 10-speed automatic. And it's a very, very smooth experience when you're shifting with the paddles, whether you're going up the gears or down the gears. That sound, that's where it's at. Let me show you how easy it is to make a U-turn in this thing. Good turning radius, look at that. The way that it handles, the way that it drives. I know there's lots of cars with more horsepower out there, but if you're looking for the balance and having that nice driving experience, this really does work out so very well. Visibility is great in these cars. Just a lot of fun. It really does put a smile on your face a mile wide. But it does bring a unique attitude. Having that Molten Magenta, especially with the silver wheels, brings a unique attitude to this car. Whether you're driving in it or whether you're staring at it in a parking lot. This thing is great. Absolutely fantastic. Ford Performance exhaust sounds stupendous. Yeah, you could go louder, but it's loud, but it's also a nice clean sound. I could really appreciate that. Let's see if we can get a little space here. We can go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. On the brakes. Look at that. Nice. When you gotta merge, you can merge. Plenty of power. And going down the highway, it's super smooth, super comfortable, and super fast. I'm just so grateful to be able to share this with you because it's a really, really amazing experience. No matter how many Mustang reviews that I do, they just are still, you just keep coming back for more. More and more. It's like Lay's potato chips, you just can't eat one. Mustangs, you can't just drive one. You want to drive more and more and more and more. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of this Molten Magenta Mustang GT. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a Mustang minute. All right, guys, it's been another great day in so many ways here at Walker Ford. Definitely gotta thank Frank Walker, Weston Walker, Tracy, and the rest of the crew getting us this right off the truck, 2025 new color Molten Magenta on a Mustang GT. Now it's your turn. Let me know what you think. Is this the best color for a 2025 Mustang? Is it a real muscle car color? Let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rise family. Gotta give it up to LGR. She's loving this Molten Magenta. She's also loving the hard work that she does. And I thank you, Lori, for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.